Hey guys, sorry we've been MIA a while. We've been really sick. All of us got sick except for Blake, really. But I thought I'd give you guys some updates on the garden since it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since my last video. Everything is looking really good. We're getting a bunch of tomatoes coming in. The cucumbers are starting to climb up. We trellised those today. And the green beans, or I mean the yard-long beans, are starting to climb up the trellis that we did. Black beans look really great. Watermelons look amazing. We've got squash out there doing really good. The peppers are doing really good. So we're really excited. It's definitely going to be a good year. I was worried the last few days for not being out here, but it looks like everything was doing well without me for the most part. So here's a look at everything right now. The peppers are doing all right. These are the ones that we transplanted. They've got a ton of peppers on this little bitty plant. It's unbelievable. So some of them look a little sad, but they've just got to get acclimated over here. Let's go look at the squash. We need to do some weeding in this row. But the squash is doing well. I saw a bunch of summer squash on some of these. Look at this one, is just loaded with them. Hopefully those all make it and they don't get any blossom end rot. That'd be awesome. So these are looking really good. Still gotta do a lot of weeding. We missed a few days of weeding, so it's gonna take us a bit to catch up. But these are all the squash that I seed started in the ground. So I'm going to come in through here when I'm 100% and weed that all up too. And then you can kind of see we've planted corn out here. That's what these 6 rows are. And then right here are the black oil sunflowers. And then in this row there's some more watermelons. You just can't really see them too well. All right, let's go check out the Ruth Stout garden because you guys are going to be surprised at how well that garden bounced back. You want to come with Mama? Yes, you do. Oh, you are hot. Come here, buddy. Come here, Bo. Bo, come here, baby. Hi, buddy. You need to get some water. You can come with me. Oh my goodness. I don't want to step on your paws. What are you doing? The back sunflower patch put off a sunflower, and this patch is really struggling. Again, I planted these really close together, so they're gonna stay small, and I expected them to stay small, but these are a lot smaller than I had hoped for. There's some bigger ones back in there, but it just got hot really, really fast, and they didn't like it. While I'm headed back here, I wanted to show you guys the drift of gladiolas that we planted. This was the one that we did, I think, 140 of. We ended up only planting 100 though, I think. And this is the macaroon mix. But look how beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I got this mix. And this one is such a gorgeous lilac. I cannot wait to see that one in full bloom. And then of course the beautiful purple ones that I love. So this is gonna be so stunning right here. I'm super duper excited to see this in full bloom. So here's the Ruth Stout garden. We have not reapplied hay to this garden for months, so it's a little shaky as far as weeds go. We need to come in and weed, but some of the stuff that you're seeing here aren't weeds and they kind of look like weeds. But this is the zinnia row that I did, and then this is Brussels sprouts, which came back. They completely got cut back and like dead, and then they came back somehow. And then over here, we've got a few tomato plants that ended up surviving that came out of nowhere. It's been really hot today, like in mid-90s. And then this is the kohlrabi patch. I've only got a few good-sized ones coming up, so I'm gonna let these smaller ones go to seed. These are the tomatillos. There's a bunch on there forming. We love tomatillos. They always do so well here. And then we have a bunch of eggplants. Look at this. A whole bunch in here. Some of them are ready to pick again already. And then this is the Louisiana green eggplants. You can see some in here. And then I've got onions, a ton of onions that need to be harvested. Like this one and this one. All of these pretty much are done. And then what looks like weeds here is actually radish that I'm letting go to seed. But let's go check out the long beans. This looks so messy, but it needs to finally climb up here the rest of the way, but you can see there's a ton of long beans in there. I always let the first few beans dry out on the vine so that I could seed save. In case something happens to the plants later in the season and I don't get to save any seeds, I want to make sure that I've got my seeds for next year. Well, so this one is ready to pick and dry out. So are these ones. But look at these guys. This one's the red noodle bean, and these are yard long. And there's a bunch back there, so hopefully this will start climbing and fill up this whole trellis soon. But look at this guy. This guy has reached the top finally. It's doing good. You can see it here. Crazy. These are the beans that I just planted last week or this week, earlier this week. Then we've got all the amaranth and cosmos right here. And then this is a squash, some type of squash. I think it's a Peter Pan squash. And then we've got, of course, the dragon's tongue beans. They're doing really well. And this is funny because I only had 2 seeds that made it from last year. I can't remember what happened. I either got the seed packet wet or I'm not sure, but I seed saved from last year, from my plants last year. And I only had 2 seeds left. So I got this plant going. And then this one over here is also the dragon's tongue. So I'm gonna let these ones dry out on the plant and we're gonna seed save those. Look at these guys. They're really long. So that's what it looks like on the bean trellis. This thing will be jam-packed soon. Let's go check out some of the zinnias. There's the nasturtium that I planted here. And then the darn chickens scratched the squash that I seed started, so I'm gonna have to re-seed start those. Look at this. Look at this Katie did. Here's some zinnias. I thought I had planted some more zinnias down that way, but I guess not. Red and pink. So pretty. This is the purple ruffles basil, and I think this must have been mispackaged by M.I. Gardener because it does not look like purple ruffles basil at all to me. Still really pretty, but it just looks like your basic purple basil that you'd get anywhere. It's not ruffled at all, but I still like it. Here are some of the larger sunflowers. Hopefully these guys will be nice and big. And we've got more pepper plants out here. This has a King Arthur pepper on it, and the darn chickens have been pecking at it. But you can see there's some more peppers forming up there. I'm not sure what these varieties are. I think they're probably also King Arthur. The strawberry row needs some weeding again, but there's a ton of strawberries on there. And we've just been letting the chickens eat them because these are really going to do much better in their second year because they were just starts. So the marigolds that we planted between the tomatoes when the tomatoes were here are coming to life finally. Hopefully they get nice and big. These are zinnias. These big bushy ones are zinnias that you see. And I've got some kind of fungus going on here. So I'm gonna have to spray with 5 parts water, 1 part milk. That'll get rid of that. This is the fava bean patch. I'm about to cut it all down because I already harvested all the beans off of it and they are drying, so I'm going to go and cut this back. This bed still has some garlic I need to harvest. It's overdue, but I've got a ripe yellow cayenne pepper in here I'm excited to try. And this is what my kitchen garden looks like because the chickens kept getting my tomatoes. The Mexican sour gherkins are filling out, and I have to move this fencing because they're starting to climb up the fence. But there's peas coming up from when there was peas here, and then I have a little amaranth right there. This is the asparagus patch doing really well, and then these are the yellow pear tomatoes. They are getting so out of control, and there's so many tomatoes on there, so hopefully those ripen up soon. I already harvested quite a bit of those actually. And if we go over here, these are the ground cherries in this row. They're getting nice and big. And then these are the beans that I started in here. And I can't remember which beans they were. I think they were the red beans, but I'll have to watch my video back. And then that whole row of peppers right here. And then zinnias in that last row that you can't even see because the weeds are out of hand. So I'm definitely gonna have to come in here and weed this week. But this is what happens when you get sick and you don't weed for a long time. And then here's the tomato plants, and you can see I've got little white mesh bags on them because before Garrett put the orange fence up, I didn't want the chickens to get all the tomatoes, so I covered them up with little produce bags that I have from our first farm stand. But there's quite a few that are ripe in there that I'm going to need to pick. So that's that garden. Garrett is mowing between the gladiolas that are out in the market garden because I have, I think, close to 200 gladiolas that I need to plant to make a hedge right there. So yeah, it's getting pretty dusty out here. And I just want to show you guys how gorgeous my Vitex trees are right now. I love this Vitex. I have it in white and pink, or no, white and this purple color, and it's so beautiful. It's just so striking when you come back here and you see all this color. And I have another one right here. This one's in full sun. They do a little bit better in a little bit of shade. The one that I planted these both at the same time, and the one that's in the shade is twice this size. So this one's in full sun. It struggles a little bit more, but still really beautiful. And then there's Whitaker in his little pen. Hi, babies. And then we have these guys starving for attention right now. My little babies. Hi, my babies. Hello. Hello, my babies. You guys are out of food. I'm gonna go get you some food. And you all need a grooming too. For dinner tonight, we are making some dumplings and some dim sum. And I'm kind of doing an Asian fusion thing because I'm making this a lemongrass chicken dumpling. And of course, I like to make my wrappers from scratch. I'm sorry I don't have a recipe to share. This is kind of an experiment right now. If it turns out well, then I will share a recipe one day. But again, this is kind of an Asian fusion type thing because this is really the chicken that I'm stuffing inside these dumplings are a Vietnamese dish, and dumplings are usually a Chinese dish or a Japanese dish sometimes. So yeah. It's time to fry up the bottoms and steam these puppies. We like to cook our dumplings two different ways. One is to fry up the bottoms and then steam them, and then sometimes we'll fry the whole thing. So we like them both ways, really. And here's the dish, and I roasted some bell peppers, some sweet peppers Also, if you've never roasted sweet peppers, it's super delicious and they're really sweet. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.